and seeing him healthy and growing, it's truly just a miracle.
Without primaries, we wouldn't be where we are today. I don't believe there's a better hospital. Primaries does everything they can to make it the best experience for the situation you possibly have.
I love you.
I love you. I started knowing the doctors, and I trusted them because they actually made me stay alive. And that's the most important thing.
I just trusted the surgeon and those doctors, and I knew that Talmadge was in the best hands at Primary Children's Hospital.
Primaries is great.
Was the place for him to be.
Primaries is awesome.
There is a friendliness, there's a family feeling there, and you feel like you're part of the family when you're walking the halls there.
Almost everybody is touched by Primary Children's. Like almost everybody has a kid that's been up there for something, whether it's like their kid or their grandkid or their niece or nephew.
Your donations make a big change. Thank you for donating to Primary Children's Hospital.
Oh, and the chills begin and the magic begins early. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the annual KSL Primary Children's Hospital Give-A-Thon. I'm Brooke Walker, here with my friends Lori Pritchard and Dan Spindle from the KSL Morning Show. That applause is good news, good sound.
Sounds great.
Doesn't it?
Sounds like we are raising money. That's what it sounds like.
That's our goal. Our goal today, in fact, is to raise as much money as possible for the patients, some of those you just heard from and saw at Primary Children's Hospital. And you mentioned that, you heard that mention of family, and that really is the feeling around this hospital. There are so many people who have been touched by this, and as part of that familiar energy, so many generous people in our community who want to help the kids, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, the Primary Children's Give-A-Thon has been a tradition, of course, here at KSL for decades. Both KSL radio and television have been an important part of this work. For 45 years, you've heard about it, whether on the radio for the past 38 years, you've watched it on television. More recently, listeners from FM 100, 103.5, The Arrow have just joined these efforts. Since 1983, KSL has raised nearly $60 million. Wow. It's a project we've been honored to participate in because the work that happens at Primary Children's Hospital is, of course, special, and it touches the families in our community.
Yeah, this year, television, KSL News Radio, our music stations, they are here at KSL. I want to kind of mask up. I'm going to go over and find our radio folks. You said it, Lori. They're the OGs. They're the original Give-A-Thoners. They were doing this in the 70s. We joined on the television side in the 80s. So come on over here, folks. I turned my back to the camera. You don't do that in television. In radio, it doesn't matter. Hey, guys, we're going to put you on camera here. Let's talk about this. Debbie, let's talk about how important it is. You guys have been doing this for so long, and when you really ramp it up and you get those folks calling in and money starts flowing, how does it feel?
Oh, it's so exciting. I mean, we just are having a ton of success getting people to call in because of the generosity of every single person and the TV audience and in the radio audience. I mean, there's no shortage of people calling right now to donate, and it makes us feel so good.
Well, let's talk about the matches, too, because if you call in right now, we typically say, hey, we'll double your match. But really now it's like a triple match today. So you donate $10, it becomes $30, $100 becomes $300.
And we couldn't do that also without the generosity of so many companies and foundations that are willing to match the people's donations as they're calling in. So you call in for a $10 donation, it turns to $20 or $30 depending on the match. Your dollar just stretches further to help the children at Primary Children's.
When we feel sick, that's one thing. When your kids feel sick, that's another. They don't understand. They shouldn't have to go through it. But the folks at Primary Children's Hospital make them feel like, you know what, they're going to get through this. They give them the strength and the tools necessary to get through it. It's great to see their little faces and they go, you know, I can do this.
Twice I've had to race my children up to Primary Children's Hospital, but not for long-term illnesses, but that short-term, when my daughter actually had her finger severed off and we needed somebody at Primary Children's, an ER doc to stitch it back on. They were remarkable. My little baby, when he was born, he had RSV. We didn't know. We raced him to Primary Children's, and they gave him the care that he needed, and he eventually recovered completely from it. We never know when we're going to need need a wonderful resource like Primary Children's Hospital.
And you'll need it sooner or later. Debbie, thank you so much. The radio folks, KSL News Radio 102.7 at 1160 a.m. Thank you so much. Lori, let's keep this going. Let's get those folks to call in and use their phones and use their internet and kslkids.com.
Okay, so there are multiple ways that you can donate. You can call or you can go online. Now, our coworker Sheriff Park is out in the KSL lobby where we have the phone bank set up with volunteers who are here to answer your calls.
I am. I'm so lucky that I get to be out here, Lori, because I hear the phone ring, and then I get chills every time it happens. I want to show you the phone bank we've got going on behind us as I tell you what you need to do. Okay, we want you to head over to kslkids.com and donate online right now, or you can call 801-KSL-KIDS. That's 575-5437. And right now, we have a double donor match happening. So your money is basically going in triple here. So you've got $100, it's going to be $300. Anything helps, though. Our donor match is going with Cash Flow Academy, which means you can double that money. And then for the next 30 minutes, they'll stay with us on that one. Cash Flow Academy is a Utah-based education company that's helping people learn how to safely invest in the stock market. So let's follow their example and invest in our kids. Let's get these phones ringing. Let's stay busy. Let's get our website busy. That's where we can get a lot of donations coming in all at once. So let's do that. You can donate, again, by going online at kslkids.com, or you can use the QR code that's right there on your screen. You can open up your camera on your phone, point it up to the screen, and it'll pop up the link to take you to that site on how to donate. And so we need people to donate, don't we?
Yes, we do. We really do.
You do. You don't.
I'm waiting for a great offer.
Okay, tell everybody your name.
My name's Scott.
Everybody, let's get Scott busy. So call in right now. We're ready for your donation. We're going to be here throughout this broadcast, giving you updates, talking about who's calling in. So let us know who you are. We would love to share your donation as well. So Lori, we'll send it back to you. I'm going to stay out here and get these guys excited.
Okay, Sheriff Park manning the phones. Okay, well, nearly everyone in our state has been impacted by the good work done at Primary Children's Hospital. We recognize what a treasure that it is right here in our community. We want to help them be able to continue to provide the charity care and other great services that are offered to families whose children spend time there. Tamara Vaifanua has been up at the hospital this morning talking with the caregivers about their important work, all the work that they do up there. She joins us now.
Hi, Lori. Good morning to you. You know, we talk so much about Primary Children's Hospital really providing support for children and their families. And one particular area that we really want to focus on right now is the care and support that they provide to mothers who are expecting and perhaps they're having some challenges before delivery. So I do want to bring in Dr. Angelo Giordino, Chief Medical Officer here at Primaries. And we're making sure we're keeping our 6-foot distance here, and that's why we're not masked. But there's a new fetal center that really does provide support for these mothers who may be having some challenges.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Over the past year, we've been able to open the Utah Fetal Center. That's a collaboration between Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital and the University of Utah. And what's so wonderful about this is that a mom who has a baby, while she's carrying the baby before the baby's born, if there's a prenatal diagnosis of a condition or a birth defect, we can now start taking care of the mom and the baby together, do some of the planning, and it really brings a team together to help this mom and her family at this really critical time when they're so worried about the baby because now there's a condition or a birth defect, but we can actually start some of the treatment while the baby's still in the mom's body. So usually as a pediatrician, the care starts after the baby's born, but now because of this Utah Fetal Center, pediatricians are now helping the child before they're even born. It's just amazing.
And I have to wonder about the mother who is going through this, how stressful the situation already is. If there wasn't such a center, what would happen? Would she have to be going to different specialists and coordinating all of this?
It would be very isolating, and the mom would have to really figure out who to talk to, who has the information. This center brings everybody together, the high-risk obstetrician, the pediatric surgeon, the pediatricians, the nurses, and there's a nurse coordinator that just really wraps her arms around this mom and her family and helps her plan the care. And if she does need to be seen by all these different specialists, we bring the specialist to her at the center so that she doesn't have to worry about all of those other issues. And what's really exciting, there are certain conditions where we could actually do the surgery on the baby before the baby's born. while the baby's still in the mom's body. I mean, it's just, really, it's kind of miraculous.
Yeah, just incredible. Just a testament to the good work that you folks and all the specialists are doing here at Primary Children's Hospital. And that's why it's so crucial that you out there donate, give what you can, because we've seen the good works and what can really happen in helping Utah families. We'll send it back to you guys.
Oh, Tamara, again, everybody's got a story. Everyone knows the great work that they do there at Primary Children's Hospital. We do want to do the total right now. We like that running total. Get you excited, right?
Yes.
Let's
Very excited.
reveal.
Okay, here we go.
All right. The drum roll and, oh, keep going. Keep going. Okay. Boom, there it is. $116,325 right now. And you see that QR code? You know what that is. It means we want to keep that number going up and up and up. What a great start, though, Lori, here on this, in the morning as we're going to go through the evening hours. A good start so far.
And I tell you what, this is money that's coming from our community.
Yes.
Not necessarily from corporate sponsors.
Right.
This is money raised that you have either called in or used that QR code or have gone to kslkids.com to donate. We want to thank you and continue to thank you as we broadcast throughout the day. And today we're going to introduce you to a number of children who have benefited from the amazing work that's done at that hospital. And the first child is Noelle. Her treatment at Primary Children's Hospital began before she was even born.
I would describe Noelle as very happy and even at a little young age, really giving.
We were doing the usual ultrasound and I was talking to the technician, and the technician actually stopped and just let me know that there was something wrong. They know what it is. They call it CPAM, congenital pulmonary airway malformation.
Which is basically a tumor that's on the lung.
It was pushing her heart aside, and that this was something really serious and that we needed to go to a specialist. I just felt so much peace and calmness, like, okay, there's someone close by. There's someone that's going to be able to take care of us.
The road to intervention requires a lot of infrastructure. It's coming up with a multidisciplinary team, so experts from multiple fields that can not only help diagnose, but also treat and then ultimately care for that child in the long run.
When we met with Dr. Fenton, he did recommend doing steroid treatment, which was successful for Noelle. He did expect that when she was born, there could be a possibility that she would not be able to breathe very well on her own. And depending on the severity of the CPAM at that time, surgery either then or surgery later down the road.
Noelle came out and Callie had, I think, a few seconds. They put her in a room where the window went from the room to the NICU. So they basically passed her through the window right into the NICU, and they got her all set up. They got everything they needed, and I actually was the one who got to go in first to be able to see her, and she was hooked up to all this stuff. But the amazing thing was she was moving, and she was breathing with some assistance, but she was breathing a lot on her own. So that was a huge relief to us.
3 months later, she did have surgery with Dr. Fenton, and she did wonderful, and Dr. Fenton did amazing with her. The surgery went just as planned.
You know, there's really nothing more important in the eyes of a parent than their child. And oftentimes, the joy that a parent can feel can turn into despair when they realize that their child has something wrong with them. And it can be something relatively easy in my mind, but still feels very, very serious in the mind of the parent. And I really find joy in being able to help that child and help that parent overcome those situations. That's why I do it.
Oh, and how lucky are we? We have baby Noelle, who's not a baby anymore. She's moving and wiggling, and her mom, Callie, is joining us in studio as well. Thank you for being here. Little emotion in your eyes as you looked back over that journey your family has been through the last many months.
Yeah, definitely. It brings back a lot of emotions.
I consider that as a mom to mom, that moment where you go in for the ultrasound and anxiety is high because you don't know what's going to be said or shared, and you got the news you weren't expecting or hoping for. At what point, Callie, did that anxiety switch to the hope that you described or the peace that you described?
I think as I came home and, of course, did a lot of research and looking up information, at first I was thinking we would have to go far to get help. And then I found Dr. Fenton's bio, and I found out that he had been at a hospital that specialized in caring for CPAM. And that right at that moment, I was like, okay, we're gonna be okay, and we only have to go up to Salt Lake City, and we can do this.
And that peace continued, you told me, once you met Dr. Fenton and were able to realize what amazing hands your daughter would be in.
Exactly. When we met him, he was able to answer all our questions. He made it feel like this was something he could handle. I had complete confidence in his abilities.
Your family and Noelle ultimately benefited from the new fetal care center. It's new to the hospital. What was your experience with that?
I was amazed. I had a phone call made to me. I didn't have to call anyone. And the phone call pretty much consisted of, hey, I'm here to take care of you. I'm gonna get you set up with all the specialists that you need. In one day, we'll get you taken care of, and you don't have to worry about anything.
I mean, the weight, right, off your mom's shoulders must have been enormous. And now here she is today, her darling, bubbly personality and brown eyes winning over everyone in the studio. What does life look like for Noelle now?
She is so much fun. Oh my goodness. She is definitely getting into everything like every 1.5-year-old does.
Yeah.
She smiles and plays with her sisters. And
do we have follow-ups at primary? Or are we still?
Not anymore.
We're free
we did our
and
last follow-up, and everything looked really great. And so she's got really wonderful prognosis of just a wonderful life ahead of her.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. Your family is brave to do so. You've been through a lot the last many months, and look at this. The gift this Christmas is her, right?
Oh, definitely.
Noelle, Miss Noelle, can you say bye-bye?
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, now she's like, don't put the spotlight right on me. I've done my job, and she has. Thank you, Callie. Thank you so much. It's for kids just like Noelle that we are here today raising money to benefit the hospital. The new fetal care center is one of the amazing resources that these funds, these donations will go towards. So please use the QR code on your screen or go to our website, kslkids.com. We'll be sharing more inspiring stories like Noelle's in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Welcome back into our special programming. I'm Haley Smith here live at the Festival of Trees. And I have to start off by saying, yes, my heart is very happy. We've got so many beautiful trees to look at. And the question always comes to mind, where does the money go? How does it help? Does this directly impact people in our community and surrounding states? Let's answer that question right now. We've got Janet DeWolf here with us. You're the executive director at Intermountain Foundation at Primary Children's Hospital. What does this money do from events like this for the hospital?
Well, it does quite a bit. It really helps us save and change children's lives and support families in many, many ways. At a children's hospital, we not only care for children medically and surgically, but we also provide services that you don't see in adult hospitals. So music therapy, we have bereavement programs, we have a clubhouse for children for the siblings so that they are getting the attention they need. And then we also provide financial assistance to families. So you can only imagine a heart transplant or cancer treatment can be overwhelming for a family. And that's the last thing we want them to focus on. We want them to focus on their child and getting their child well. So we help relieve some of that burden for them. And that's really what
one of your big mantras there at the hospital is basically, we do not turn anybody away. But then that puts the burden back on you guys. And so the money raised in events like today, you guys served almost, what, 12,000, I believe, nearly 12,000 visits to Primary Children's Hospital last year alone that came from the money from events like this.
Yes, and we serve so many people. We have a service area of 400,000 square miles. We serve 5 states. Many people come from far away to come to our hospital. So an important part, and that we really want to do is provide services so that you don't always have to travel if they don't need to. So we are really starting to invest in communities so that we're able to extend the services of primary children's in many other ways. And philanthropy really makes that happen. It provides that margin of excellence. And for Intermountain Healthcare, it helps provide about 25% of their bottom line. And this community is so generous and incredibly supportive of children that we're very fortunate that people come out all the time. And this signature event, Festival of Trees, and also Give-A-Thon, thanks to KSL, who's been doing this for over 44 years with us. And, you know, many of you have been around a long time to help support us. So you also help us extend our philosophy of the child first and always.
You had mentioned a comment that patient's mother gave you guys about the staff at Primary Children's Hospital. What was that comment?
She had said that she has a daughter who has very complex issues and needed a lot of surgeries, and said that the team at Primary Children's take care of our children like they're their own. And I thought there is no greater compliment. It is different in a children's hospital. And we really do put that child first, everyone. That is what we do, and that's what drives us every day.
And events like these are so crucial, like you said, to that bottom line. Is there any other message you want to get out to everybody about what you guys do, the money and the benefit it gives to the hospital?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to thank KSL because you've been an incredible supporter, and all of you just get so excited to come help us with this. But I also want to announce that we've had a donor who has stepped forward. Dan Burton from Burton Family, or Lumber Family, has agreed to match up to $250,000 today for anyone calling in for Give-A-Thon. So we're very grateful. The Burton family's been extraordinarily generous to Festival of Trees as well as to Primary Children's and Give-A-Thon. So we want to encourage people to get out there and help us.
I love
Every
that when
helps.
oh, it does. And when we get those matches. So if you're wondering how you can get involved, there are several ways. You can go online right now. You can donate online. But another great thing is, although yes, the Festival of Trees is not open to the public right now, it is all online. You can head over to the Festival of Trees website, and you guys, you don't have to have a lot of money in order to help raise money. They've got fudge, and fudge is on sale for $8. I'm just saying to you guys back in studio, they have fudge.
$8, that's a steal, right, Haley? Okay, you know the reason why we do this Give-A-Thon is because of children, of course. And the hospital's motto, and you heard it from Haley there, is the child first and always. And we believe that to be true. And each year we meet so many amazing kids who bravely face challenges associated with their illnesses. And several years ago, I met a young boy named Preston, and he was hooked up to a bunch of machines. And we were doing our Give-A-Thon up at Primary Children's, and all that little boy wanted to do, he wanted to be on TV. And I couldn't cure his cancer, but I could put him on TV, and that's what I did. And he has inspired us in so many ways. Here's Preston's story.
Happy birthday. At 16 years old, Preston Christiansen is wiser than most teens his age.
I look at life differently than some other people would, I guess, because there's not really a reason to stress out. It's not like you can really change a lot of stuff, but you can change how you get through that.
All right, down there is the flamingos.
We first met Preston and his family 5 years ago, shortly after he'd been diagnosed with cancer.
Hi, my name is Preston. I am 11 years old, and I like playing video games.
Preston has what's called desmoplastic small cell round tumor. It's extremely rare. There's about 200 cases in the world.
And so they said to go to Primary Children's.
And I'll never forget the room. It was 4424, and it was Christmas Day, and they had everything decorated for him to try and make it better.
A somber time for his family, but one filled with gratitude, too.
Thank you, everybody, for the prayers.
Since that time, cancer has been an almost constant presence in Preston's life, but it never dampened his personality. He's always had a great sense of humor.
What is it called when Batman leaves church? Christian Bale.
Why did Adele cross the road?
Why?
To say hello from the other side.
Hello. That's pretty good.
Knock, knock.
Who's that?
Boo.
Boo hoo.
Oh, don't cry. It's just a joke.
Whoever invented these knock-knock jokes should get a Nobel Prize.
Preston has now rung the bell after chemo treatments more times than anyone should ever have to. Chances are he won't get to ring it again. His cancer has returned and spread. Doctors say his options are very limited.
You wake up and you go to bed every night wondering how much time you have left. I try not to focus on that, and I actually follow Preston's lead. He's so positive.
Even though it's like such a bad thing that I was diagnosed with this illness, it's also something that has brought me a lot of happiness and joy as well, because I've met so many people and they've really been a big part of my life. Because the night is falling and the dawn is calling.
Now music is also helping him make new connections.
So yeah, I just got into like singing and stuff. And then I was like, you know, I actually want to make a song.
Never thought you'd pick up the phone.
He recently released a Blake Shelton cover of Lonely Tonight.
Didn't think you'd be sitting at home all alone like me.
And when Shelton heard about it, he sent Preston a video message.
Hey there, Preston, this is Blake Shelton.
So I was like, am I dreaming right now? Did this actually happen?
I gotta say that I'm absolutely blown away.
Preston says he wants the proceeds from the song to benefit cancer research for kids.
So it's like really cool that everybody wants to be like invested in that and actually likes the song. I felt really loved.
Recently, his high school cheer squad helped him raise awareness for childhood cancer research. And he was made an honorary cheerleader at a Weber State football game.
You know, and he always wanted a Leatherman jacket, and he has one, and it's like, you know, from a college that he might not be able to go to. And they wanted to make him family, him a part of the team.
It makes you feel good that there's people out there that don't owe you, but then choose to give their time or resources to make Preston have so many amazing memories.
Preston says it's the people who show love that make the most impact, and that's how he wants to be remembered.
I want to be the best person I can be and hopefully make an impact in our lives, because eventually everybody's going to not be here anymore. So it's what you do during that time that you're here that matters, and all the happiness that you bring others.
That's so very true. And Preston, in that piece, said that he felt the love, and I just hope that you at home, Preston, feel our love here, and so many other kids out there who need the help of Primary Children's. And he's released another single, by the way, on iTunes. It's called Fallen Star. You can go check it out.
Yeah, if you wonder what can you do, you can support him with his music too, and then that supports other kids in turn. Everyone is impacted by Primary Children's Hospital when it comes to health and wellness. Did you know that according to the 2020 Primary Children's Hospital statistics, the average length of a stay at Primary Children's Medical Center is 5 days. The average number of patients seen per day is 159. Now, the total number of emergency visits last year, 30,686. The average age of patients, guys, it's 7 years old. These are kids. These are children who sometimes they don't understand what's happening. They don't know why they have to be there. They just need our support. They need our help. Last year, on average, there were 33 surgeries done every single day. Every day. Primary Children's cares for kids from birth to age 21. And again, some of them are so young, they're infants, up to children who are grade school age, to Preston's age, where he's there often. Right? They get to know people there, and they get the help that they need.
And there are so many reasons why we should be donating to the hospital. And Shara Park is manning the phone banks out there with all the volunteers. Okay, Shara, are those phone lines lit up? That's the question.
They are ringing, you guys. I want to show you something right now. Let's look at our board. This is what we've raised at this point, $155,000, $490. You guys, we are making money right now thanks to the amazing donors in our community, and we are doing a double match right now. Let me tell you a little bit about our double match. as we get to know some of our volunteers right here. We've got a double match happening by Big Canyon Homes and Burton Lumber. That means if you donate $10, it becomes $30. If you're donating $100, it becomes $300. So get on the phone or jump online right now to kslkids.com, and we will get a double match on your donation. Every single dollar counts, as you know. I just want to tell you one little thing here. $13.7 million in charitable contributions covered over 11,000 hospital visits in 2020, you guys. Your money is used to help children in the Intermountain area and their families. So let's keep these phones going. Let's jump online. Let's set a huge record today, and let's raise money for Primary Children's Hospital and the families who visit. Dan, Lori, we'll send it back over to you.
Okay, let's check our total. See what our new total is right now.
Feel like Elvis. Oh, there we go. $155,490. Folks, how great is this? The QR code is so that you can easily donate. And like Shara said, you're going to turn your money into not 2 times the amount, 3 times the amount of money, thanks to Cash Flow Academy, thanks to Burton Lumber. What a great effort this is. So many people out there wonder, what can I do? I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of time. This is it. $1, $5, $20, whatever it is.
Right, and then we triple it.
That's right.
So that's
triple your money. We want to talk about social media right now too. Hashtag KSL Kids. If we look up at our board here, there are folks who are talking all about I just went away, Lori. There we go. Sonia talking about, she says she's thankful for Primary Children's Hospital and staff helped her son in 2004 at 6 months old performing heart surgery. Mentioning the heart surgeries, you go all the way back to 1986, folks, and Primary Children's has performed over 200 heart transplants, right? There are people on the list all the time, but they've done that many heart transplants since 1986. We want to keep those going.
Yeah, we do. And of course, this past summer, a former patient of Primary Children's Hospital was in Tokyo.
Yes.
Competing.
Yeah, big time for the Paralympics. I mean, she credits her time at the hospital for saving her life. Alex Cabrera with that incredible story now.
When you want to be one of the best in the world, you have to train like no one else in the world does.
After I got back from Tokyo, it was just a whirlwind, and finally decompress and breathe for once. So it's been good.
Shelby Jensen from Mill Creek was in Tokyo this past summer representing Team USA in the Paralympics in the sport of parafencing. Competing on the highest stage has been her dream for years, and even though she didn't medal, she made it.
I honestly don't believe it. Like, I know I went to the Paralympics, I know I'm a Paralympian, but saying it out loud, I don't believe I am.
Of course, she's been exceeding expectations her whole life.
I was 7 years old when I had the stroke.
The stroke, on a day that started off like every other normal day in her life, until she started feeling weird at school, so her dad picked her up. She kept feeling worse, though, so her parents brought her to Primary Children's Hospital, where, after examining Jensen, a doctor told her parents it appeared her stroke was caused by a brain aneurysm, and she needed surgery. Fast.
It's beyond scary. When the fellows came and told the wife and I that she's got to have brain surgery and go in between the 2 lobes of the brain and clamp off that aneurysm, we lost it.
From there, it got worse.
And then in surgery, when they clipped off the aneurysm, I had another stroke that paralyzed my right side.
Jensen was going to live, but life was going to be different.
We had to teach her how to walk and talk and swallow and chew all over again. We didn't know what we were going to do.
However, for Jensen, well, it was going to take more than a stroke and paralysis to stop her.
I was too young to remember my childhood before. I can only remember after.
And after meant rehab, going to Primary Children's, learning how to function all over again.
They made my stay there not feel like an actual hospital stay. I knew I was staying in a hospital, but they didn't make it feel like that. They just had games, they had a rolling computer that I always used to play on. They made therapy there, because I did therapy there. They made therapy fun for me.
Which ultimately led to the life she has now, traveling the world, competing as one of the best Paralympians in the world.
It's indescribable. You know, people say, how is it having a Paralympian? We're like, it's just Shelby. We don't see her as a Paralympian, other people do, and it's just amazing to what's happening, where she's at.
Jensen is also a role model to so many children and their families, especially those at Primary Children's Hospital.
I absolutely love bringing smiles to kids' faces, bringing smiles to others, and showing others what they can do with their disability or with the things that have happened to them.
Jensen is already preparing for the Paris Paralympics in 2024. Alex Cabrera, KSL 5 News.
Alex, thank you for bringing us that story, and we have just such an inspiration and Olympian here in studio today to share more of her experience at Primary Children's. Shelby, how were the Olympics?
Amazing. The Paralympics were unreal. It was just so like, because you got to meet all these other athletes from different sports and intermingle with them, and it was just amazing.
We talk about what an inspiration you are, and you are example to so many kids of what you can do despite what you've been faced with. And you say the joy in you, for you, comes from seeing that spark in other people, right? Seeing them smile and realize, hey, I could do this too.
Yeah, it's all about, for me, afterwards, and me being in wheelchair fencing, me being such a role model, is bringing smiles to other people and showing them what they can do despite what happened to them.
I think you're a unique voice to speak to the hospital experience, because I know you don't have a lot of memory when you were really young, obviously, but your follow-up care that's happened over the years, you can speak to that very positively and say, hey, the hospital isn't a great place anyone wants to be in general, but this hospital felt different.
Yeah, it did. Like, it didn't seem like a hospital stay for me. It seemed like, well, I don't know what it seemed like, but it seemed so much fun, they made it fun.
Yeah, fun, special, we hear those words thrown out all the time. And I know you go back from time to time just for follow-ups, but things are looking good, things are looking great. In fact, things are looking a lot like Paris. Are you excited?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. The qualification starts next October.
Okay, our fingers are crossed. We're shaking our pom-poms for you, as we always are. Thank you for stopping by to share your experience as a Paralympian and also a patient.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Shelby.
Thank you.
And we should say right now, Big Canyon Homes Foundation is our donor that is matching all of the donations that come through in the next 30 minutes. So please take a minute within those 30 and go online to kslkids.com, and you can donate there. We've made it really easy for you online. Super slick. Just grab the card and it's there for you. You can also scan the QR code. This is a new and fancy way to do it. So techie. We're so techie. It will take you directly to the page. There are phone volunteers standing by if you want to do it the old-fashioned way. 801-575-5437. And we appreciate all of our donors for stepping up and matching your dollars, making them really count. We'll be back with more stories just like Shelby's after a quick break.
Welcome back to the Primary Children's Give-A-Thon, where we are raising money for charity care and other important programs that happen at the hospital.
Yeah, part of the money that we raise here on the Give-A-Thon helps pay for the music therapy programs at the hospital. The hospital currently has 5 music therapists who work with the children. All of them keep very busy, obviously.
And today, Emma Breezy, a 12-year-old cancer patient who just finished chemo.
Yes!
Yeah, fist bump, high five, high five. And Katie LaHue are here to perform A Million Dreams for us from The Greatest Showman. Take it away.
All right.
I close my eyes and I can see the world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own.
Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
For the world we're gonna make.
All right. How great was that? Oh, we're going to run back over here.
Okay, let's talk about this music therapy program because this is really an important part of the recovery for a lot of these children at Primary Children's.
Totally, yeah. So we're so lucky to be able to work with patients in the hospital like Emma, and we use music as a way to cope with being in the hospital for a long time and express your feelings and just have fun and put a smile on your face, right, Emma?
Really fun,
yeah.
Emma, did you like to sing before, or did you really get your love of singing at the hospital?
I loved singing before and like all the time before hospital, before cancer or anything like that. It was actually really fun for me, and whenever I felt like sad or something, I'd just go sing to myself, sometimes make up my own little songs. It was fun. I kind of got it though from my older sister Ava. She's amazing at singing and like piano and instruments and stuff, and I just kind of looked up to her for that, and I thought it was really cool. So I kind of got my love for music from her.
Will you keep singing? Keep on singing.
You know who else is good at singing? You are. Thanks so much for sharing your voices with us.
Of course.
What a wonderful time. I mean, donate, folks, because these are the kind of stories that we get to tell. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Shara?
Thanks.
I gotta tell you what, we were all out here in the lobby singing along with her, those of us who weren't on the phones. But let me show you what's going on. We've got our phone bank right now. All the lines are busy, so we want to encourage you to head over to kslkids.com, and we will continue to take your donation. Now, no matter the amount you can donate, you can be sure your money is going to a good cause at the hospital, because 100% of the money we get stays here locally to help children at Primary Children's through charity care and other programs. For many families, the financial assistance given helps them overcome financial barriers that might prevent them from meeting the basic needs of their families. Last year, I mentioned this before, $13.7 million was given through charitable contributions from the community. This helped cover 11,867 hospital visits by children needing financial support. So thank you for being willing to make a difference, because every single penny counts. In fact, I got to tell you about a donation that just came in a few minutes ago right here. Our volunteer took a $1,000 donation. That became $3,000 because of the double match we have going on right now with Big Canyon Homes and Burton Lumber. So please call right now. We'll get that donation in. It'll basically triple for you. So $10 becomes $30. Every little bit counts, you guys. Keep the phone busy. They're doing really good right now. They're cranking them out. We want to hear from you and say hello to our volunteers. Guys, we'll send it over to you.
I kind of feel like either Bob Barker, Howie Mandel or something. Let's see what's on the big board now. Drum roll, please, and keep going. Up and up and up. Yes. There we go. Right now we have $166,795. Again, $1 that you give right now is $3 thanks to the generosity of our partners in the community. You can use the QR code, open up your phone, open up the camera, and once you hover over it, you got kslkids.com. It takes you right there to donate. So we hope you do. We want to keep that number going up all day long.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. And also, too, if you've ever been up at Primary Children's, you know how scary that can be as a child, as a parent, especially when you don't know what is making your child sick. And the healthcare providers at the hospital work hard to help parents feel at ease. Shara Park shares Camden's story.
Okay, do you want to dump him out? When Camden was born, everything seemed perfect.
He was born full term. He was absolutely healthy, no issues.
But then at 18 months old, his health took a turn.
He was really sick one night in bed, aspirated. I gave him CPR, performed CPR on him. He was taken to the emergency room. Everything seemed normal, and then he started having seizures.
The seizures then became a constant concern.
I think watching your child have seizures is one of the scariest things, because really there's nothing you can do.
Medicines weren't helping with it.
They really didn't know what was going on. That he had all the doctors baffled. We would have breakthroughs where he wouldn't have seizures, and then we would go months with seizures.
Primary Children's Hospital became a second home to them.
The last stay, we were there from November to February, and it was December 31st that they came in and was like, we're out of options. We don't know what else to do anymore.
Brain surgery seemed like their only option.
Where they cut his brain in half to try and stop the seizures from bouncing side to side.
But just days before the surgery, a breakthrough discovery was made using a relatively new test available at Primary Children's Hospital.
Rapid whole genome sequencing is the technology that lets us analyze all the genetic material, so that's the whole genome part. Oftentimes we don't know what's causing the illness, and the genetic tests, this rapid whole genome sequencing, lets us look to see is there a genetic change that's causing the illness.
It was discovered that Camden had a vitamin B6 deficiency.
We're suspecting that he's gone 3 years of life without vitamin B6. And the reason why we didn't see signs of anything is because for 18 months he was able to make it work.
It was a Sunday night, and Jesse had just left to come back home to go to work. And they called me, and the doctor was so excited, and she's like, this is it, we found it.
They came back and said, we just found the vitamin B6 gene mutation. We're gonna try to give him a heavy amount of vitamin B6.
And I was like, yeah, vitamin, that's it, that's what we're gonna do. And she's like, no, really, this is it. And so he's been seizure-free ever since.
That was nearly 2 years ago. The Edwards credit the doctors and other caregivers at Primary Children's Hospital for saving Camden's life.
I don't believe there's a better hospital.
They cried with us, and they were defeated with us, but they also celebrated with us.
It's an amazing place. I always said it was the best, worst place in the world.
I don't think there's enough thanks in the world to give to them.
Their journey with Camden has given his parents a new perspective.
My perspective of life is I don't let the little things get to me anymore. He's my role model.
It's made us really celebrate Camden every day and the life we have with him and the true miracle he is.
Good job.
Yeah, kind of gives you chills here, but miracles really can happen here at Primary Children's. And for kids like Camden, they can receive that specialized care, and that's thanks to generous donors. And I want to learn a little bit more about how that was made possible. So I want to bring in Dustin Lipson here, the administrator for primaries. And, you know, we were talking off camera just how remarkable this new specialized center is on how they were able to pinpoint exactly what was wrong with Camden.
It is remarkable. We're learning so much more about how we can incorporate knowledge of genes and genomics into medicine. In fact, we had another story of another child, 7-year-old girl who came to us not long ago. She's playing in the yard, had a heart attack actually, and she was revived in the moment and life-flighted to primaries, but nobody could really understand why this was happening, and we're very concerned that this could happen again and quickly, and how do we take care of her? And it's actually through rapid whole genome sequencing that we were able to find out that she had a particular heart ailment, and we were able to decide which treatment to give her in that moment. And it's really only through this kind of understanding that we're able to treat kids faster, diagnose them faster, and it's donations that are making that possible.
Yeah, donations, it's pretty incredible, the community support and what that money goes towards researchers, you know, the technology, it's pretty wild.
It is, and in fact, we recently introduced a new technology in our brain and spine program. So our neurosciences program ranked first in the nation for patient outcomes. We introduced intraoperative MRI this year, and it's pretty extraordinary. It allows surgeons to actually take pictures in an MRI. It's right next to the operating room, and they're able to do a better job of ensuring that they get damaged tissue out of the brain without having to take them out of the OR, have them recover, go down imaging, take another picture, and that is saving time, effort, energy, and even saving lives. So these technologies, they're expensive, often not covered by insurance, and it's those donations that really make those things possible.
It's wonderful to see the work in action. We appreciate your efforts so much. Thanks so much. Nice meeting you, Dustin Lipson, administrator here at Primary Children's. Just a lot more of the good work that's happening here. We'll send it back to you guys.
Welcome back, everybody, to the KSL Give-A-Thon for Primary Children's Hospital. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Walker, this morning, bringing you stories that are inspiring and touching me. I'm sure that vibe is translating through the screen as well. You know, today we are celebrating the kids and also the hospital programs that helped these sweet kids heal. You know, Primary Children's is a national leader in something called expressive therapies, which might not involve medicine, but are viewed as an important part of the healing process. So think music, art, and dance therapies. These are used daily up at the hospital to help these kids not just feel better, but get better. The research backs it. These programs help nearly 10,000 patients heal and recover each year. And the money for these kinds of programs comes from what we're doing today, donations given to the hospital. So it's a reason to pause and think and be a generous donor if you can. Be generous in your support of our Give-A-Thon today. We want to introduce you to a patient who has benefited greatly from this program. My colleague and friend, Deanie Wimmer, shares Sophia's story.
And now we freestyle. Sophia is 14 years old, and Primary Children's Hospital has been part of her life from the very beginning.
Before she was born, we knew that she was gonna come with some issues.
She loves music,
I like your music.
dance,
Yeah.
and interacting with people.
Which is your favorite color, Sophie? Red, orange.
She has a terminal heart disease, which is hypoplastic left imbalance syndrome, so only a 2-chamber heart instead of 4-chamber heart.
When she was only 3 weeks old, she had her first heart surgery. Since then, multiple other procedures have followed.
She wore oxygen 100% of the time for the first 3 years of her life.
At 4.5 years old, they got a heartbreaking diagnosis.
She was hit with leukemia the first time.
Chemotherapy was really hard on her.
She went septic that first week. Infection went to her brain, created a couple abscesses on her brain. So it was tough.
She was having a hard time. So I said, what about we go music therapy? You know, kind of to make her feel a little bit better because she was miserable.
And Sophia loved it.
The nurse just came to her temperature and her temperature came down. Like, it was like, wow, we need this therapy every single day.
Primary Children's is so special in that the music, art, and dance therapists work together to sculpt an experience for a kid. And every kid is different.
In May, Sophia's family got some very difficult news.
And they said that the leukemia has come back.
During her current treatments, dance and music therapy continue to make a difference for Sophia.
As a dance movement therapist, we are helping kids process their experience in a very natural way. Can we use our imaginations with these scars? So it's replacing that like fight or flight with relaxation and creativity and joy.
We're so grateful for that. We are more than grateful to have those resources right here in the hospital, and it's been great for Sophia.
Should we go on a trip? We should go fly?
Music therapy, dance therapy really have a huge impact in her health most of the time. Yeah.
Do you like dancing?
Yes.
Do you like singing?
Yes. Sing.
Sing. Do you love it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So for them to have scheduled moments every day where they can experience joy is really beautiful. That was so lovely. And it gives them a space to feel heard and to feel frustrated and to feel angry, and we can process that together.
Do you want to say thank you?
Thank you.
Oh, and we are so excited to have not just Sophia, but the entire Mosques family. Thank you all for being here. Was that fun to see your pretty face on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got really excited, and we got excited as well. I should say we've got Mom Claudia and Nelson's siblings joining as well, because truly this was a family experience at the hospital. As you look back on that time, Claudia, a difficult time, a challenging time, what comes to mind as you consider your time at primaries?
You know what? Nelson always says, primary children is our second home. So since Sophia was born 14 years ago, I mean, we have so many beautiful experiences and sad as well. Sure. You know, but we are so grateful for all the things that Primary Children's Hospital have done for her and for our family actually, because it's not just her battle, it's the whole family's battle.
Well, Alessa, you were telling us that you felt cared for even though you weren't the official patient.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I say with Primary Children's, it's not just like, of course, so much attention is geared towards her. Like when I got to stay with her, they always came in with crafts and treats and things to make the kids happy. And I'm like, oh, this is so uplifting because when she's happy, I'm happy. But also for us, when I was younger at least, it was always like, oh, let's take them to the kids' room. Let's go play some games. So I felt love too in a time where it's like, you know, everyone's so focused on other stuff.
Sure, you talk about it being a home away from home. It became a family home away from home. And Nelson, we heard a dad describe Primary Children's earlier as the worst, best place you have to be. Why should people pick up the phone and donate for programs like the ones your family have benefited from?
Yeah, you know, anybody who donates needs to know that they make a difference. They made a difference in our life. The things that we receive from Primary Children's, the hope and everything, it's just amazing. You feel sad when you get with a child that you think you might lose your child, but then you regain hope when we start receiving everything that we have from them. For example, one experience that it was beautiful for me. She was diagnosed with leukemia the first time over Christmas, you know, and I mean, all the people involved, even at 2 o'clock in the morning, I remember that Christmas day, they brought a basket of goodies, not only for her, but also for the parent who was staying with the child, you know. So that makes a difference. Primary Children makes a difference.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. And Sophia, what a great dancer you are, too. Thanks for showing us your dance moves with those fancy scarves. That was fun. Yeah, just like that. Merry Christmas to all of you. Thanks for stopping by. Dan, we're smiling even a little bit bigger now, if possible.
I mean, you know the saying, grinning ear to ear. We're all grinning ear to ear thanks to Sophia and her family. What a beautiful story. And again, it's pure joy and pure love coming from them. And you can kind of pass that on and pay it forward as well. The simple philosophy of the child first and always informs every decision that they make at Primary Children's Hospital. Every year, more than 85,000 children go there for treatment and services. There are a lot of people, because of those amazing people that work there, they are able to make each child feel special at a moment that they really need it too, right? They need to feel like they can beat whatever they're going through.
And these people who surround them at Primary Children's, they do that along with this community who clearly gives to these kids so they can get the care that they need. Okay, let's talk about totals, because if it weren't for you out there, we would not be having this money. You, I think, are the person to give us the latest.
I was gonna say, I thought we had with the drums. All right, Johnny, show them what they've won. No. show us the total. Here we go, folks. $185,365 so far. So far. I mean, we are bringing it up and up. Use the QR code on your screen, and please donate. Be generous if you can, because we're tripling today thanks to the generosity of our partners helping with our Give-A-Thon to benefit Primary Children's Hospital. Haley is out kind of with everything that is the holiday spirit at the Festival of Trees. It just feels so festive there, Haley.
It really is. When you see all of the trees and the decorations and the hours and hours that goes into making these beautiful trees. I mean, this isn't just for the kids as much as it is. It's for families and individuals when they can have just a piece of that beauty. But I wonder, who makes these trees? Who has this talent? All right, ladies, get in here. We've got Dana Rice, and then we've got Melanie Drake here, and they are some of our infamous decorators of these trees. Melanie, we're going to start with you guys. You're kind of a duo. You've been doing this for 9 years. What inspired that first tree?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, I saw an article on KSL about a sweet little girl, Mia McDonald, and she had received a Make-A-Wish trip to Florida for Disney World, and her sweet family went out, and she immediately got sick and actually passed away in Florida. And so KSL actually featured them and said what had happened and everything, and I just contacted my friends and said, we've got to do something to help this family.
You guys did.
I contacted Dana and I said, we got to do a Festival of Trees tree for them. And she's like, how do we do that? I'm like, I have no idea, but we'll figure it out.
You guys got started. You made a beautiful Minnie Mouse tree.
Yes, so she wanted to see Disney World and she never made it there. So we did a Mickey and Minnie tree for her and dedicated that to her, and then invited her family to come to festival that year.
And since then, year after year, quickly, you guys have done trees, and a couple really impactful ones.
Yes, after Mia's, we did it a lot for families who had lost children immediately after for the next few years. And then after that, we ended up having kind of a magical one for all of us, where my mom actually, unfortunately, was diagnosed with breast cancer. So we were able to do a tree for her and 3 of her friends that were battling it at that same time.
Such beautiful stories. We will have more from both of these women coming up in an hour. They've got another tree this year you've got to see.
Welcome back to our special Give-A-Thon here at KSL. When it comes to cancer care, Primary Children's Hospital is one of the best in this country. Harper found that out, just how good they are, and she's grateful for the medical team that helped her. Here's her story.
Harper Morgan. This is my dad, and this is my mom.
Some words to describe Harper. Let's see. So she is super fun, full of life, total warrior, and like she just always brings.
And cry.
Just brings a smile to my face.
Go. Let's go for Daddy.
Harper.
Ready? Should we see?
She was 4 at a family party. My mom said something, my sister said something like, is she okay? She looks pale. I remember looking at her and just had this like, just couldn't shake it. I called the doctor from the party. We brought her in. He asked if we want to do a blood draw, and I said yes. And 2 hours later, I had a phone call that said, can you go as fast as you can to primaries? She's full of leukemia.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I love you.
I love you. When I first got there, I was kind of scared, but the more I came, the less nervous I became. I started knowing the doctors, and I trusted them because they actually made me stay alive. And that's the most important thing, mostly. And I actually kind of like going there now.
It's kind of like going back and seeing a family. I think every time we go there, the same nurses see her and the doctors see her, and I think it's really good for them to see kids be healthy. Like they go through that. They saw her at her sickest, and now they're just gonna watch her grow up.
Intermountain Primary Children's is modernizing and creating additional space and age-appropriate facilities for pediatric infusions so patients and families can heal physically, spiritually, and emotionally. These efforts will help alleviate some of the fear and make the experience as pleasant as possible for both child and parent. We're bringing this vision to life in 2 ways. Through a beautiful renovation and expansion of our cancer center at Primary Children's Campus in Salt Lake City, and through a brand new state-of-the-art pediatric cancer clinic and infusion center at the 2nd Primary Children's Hospital, currently under construction in Lehi, Utah. At our Salt Lake City campus, we're renovating the current space. This includes an expansion of clinic rooms and hallways to meet today's standards, the addition of private, child-friendly infusion rooms, adding windows for natural light, and including places for privacy, play, and rest. At the new Primary Children's Miller Family Campus, we're building 7 spacious, child-friendly infusion rooms, a welcoming waiting and reception area, and a large playroom, all with lots of natural light. At both locations, expert care will be provided by physicians and nurses specially trained in pediatric cancer care. Child life specialists will work with children and families to reduce stress and help ease anxiety.
So many great programs at Primary Children's Hospital. Okay, so I'm in the phone bank, everybody. We've got the phones. They have been busy. We want to thank you for that. We appreciate it. We have got a new anonymous matching donor who has pledged to give us $100,000 to match money as it comes into this Give-A-Thon. So let's put your money to work. We have a double match happening. So we have this anonymous donor, and then we also have Burton Lumber. So if you want to donate $100, that becomes $300. If you want to donate $10, that becomes $30. These phones have been busy. Let's keep them busy. If you're like me, I'm a little old school. I want to call. I get that. But if you can't get through, keep calling or head over to kslkids.com and donate online right there. It's really easy. A couple clicks, put in your donation, and you're good to go. Dan?
All right, Sherry. You know what I love is that down there on the lower part of the screen, we say anonymous donor. We're giving you credit anyway, anonymous donor. Thank you so much for that. For nearly 100 years, a century, Primary Children's Hospital has been helping children, families, and communities all across the western United States, not just here in Utah, but beyond. Primary Children's serves the largest geographical area for a children's hospital in the continental U.S., serving children from Denver out to the West Coast. The service area, get this, it spans about 400,000 square miles, which is 10% of the entire country. So you are doing a lot of good for a large area and a large number of people within the Intermountain West. Let's check in now with Tamara Vaifanua. She is at the hospital with a surgeon who recently helped a family from Alaska too. So not just the lower 48, but up in Alaska too. Tamara.
Hey, Dan, yeah, it's pretty incredible the reach that the experts here have, the specialists here at Primary Children. So I do want to introduce you to Dr. Dwayne Yamashiro, and he is going to talk to us about, her name is Eden from Alaska, and this complex procedure to deal with this double cleft palate and lip. Talk a little bit about that and what that entailed.
Yes, I'd like to share some of the experiences that we've had. Eden was a very complex medical patient. So there's two parts that we had to deal with, the complex medical, and then we had the complex reconstructive, or the repair, which is generally staged for bilateral cleft lip and palate. And the other confounding variable was that she was late coming in. She was 22 months, and a lot of times we end up with a lot of milestones that we've lost as far as healing, malleability, tissue, those things. But bottom line is that this was probably one of the best places for her to land. Although we're dealing with the cleft and the craniofacial aspect with our group and services, she really required a more complex team to address each of her medical issues prior to any surgical intervention.
Wow. And how has her life changed as a result of this?
There's generally, the first thing is, and we can't quantify this, someone that comes into the very severe facial deformity, there's a concept that's called the first impression. And although we're looking at a lot of, maybe cognitive, developmental issues many times, what we find is that the response that others have to that person is based on that very first impression.
I know you're so specialized in what you do, and I appreciate your efforts here, the Primary Children's team. It's been wonderful. It's so great meeting you, Dr. Yamashiro. Appreciate it. We'll go ahead and send it back to you guys. I know there's a lot going on back there as well, as far as donations and perhaps a tally, guys.
That's what we want to do. We like to tally up the total to let you know just how you are doing. Let's take a look right now.
Dan Spindle, our game show host.
Just shy of $190,000, $189,983. We tell them all because every dollar counts.
Yes, we need $17.
Yeah, we're going to bring that up. Hey, we're not going to do the math right now. Let's move it down to 10. If you give 10, it's 30 today because we're tripling it. We have an anonymous donor this half hour that's doubling that. And then, of course, our other good friends who are partnering with us today to make that donation so much bigger to help so many people for Primary Children's Hospital.
And our Give-A-Thon continues right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to the KSL Give-A-Thon, where we are raising money for Primary Children's Hospital. We are in the final few minutes with our anonymous matching donor money. You can double your donation right now by calling the number on your screen, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. It will take you directly to the online donation form at kslkids.com. Now, you can make your donation even more meaningful by becoming a Smile Maker. Okay, so what is that? It's a reoccurring monthly gift of $15 or more for at least a year. Now, with your monthly donation, you can help kids at the hospital every single day of the year. KSLkids.com makes it easy for you to donate. No matter the amount you give, whether it's $5, $10, $100, you can be sure your money is going to a great cause, because 100% of the money we receive from your donation stays here locally to help children at Primary Children's through charity care. So thank you for being willing to make a difference, because every single penny counts.
Yeah, you think about that. Sometimes when you donate to different charities, you wonder what's going to fundraising or administration or whatever it is. All of it stays here and all of it helps those children who need it the most. Some of the money we get towards today goes to research. The research happening at Primary Children's Hospital is helping save lives. Heather Simonson shares Cinch's story.
Oh, man.
At first glance,
I don't know why she swallowed a bat. Imagine that.
you'd think this family hasn't a care in the world.
You are pedaling.
2-year-old Cinch was named for a strap that binds a saddle to a horse.
That goes under the belly and you cinch it up and it keeps the saddle.
A cinch is also a thing done with ease. But his life was almost anything but.
I was having a hard time with it, and it's kind of hopeless, actually.
Newborn screenings showed Cinch has spinal muscular atrophy, or SMA, which paralyzes a baby in the first few weeks or months of life. Many babies with SMA don't survive to their second birthday, but the day after Cinch was born, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved a new therapy. Cinch was one of the first to receive it.
This really lets him live like a normal little 2-year-old.
Dr. Russell Butterfield, a pediatric neurologist with Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital, says the treatment is a game changer for kids like Cinch.
It just feels good to see the outcome, and it's hard to be patient for it. So when we first treated him and he's 2 weeks old, we just wait and wait and wait. And then it's fun to now see him walking around and talking.
But I know. In a single infusion, a virus delivered a new copy of the gene into Cinch's nerves. With help from insurance and Primary Children's Hospital, Cinch got the $2.1 million gene replacement therapy.
We were always their top priority to make sure we felt comfortable, we were having a good experience there. They have been 100% amazing. I couldn't imagine any other team to have helped us through. Kick your feet in and out.
Doctors say Cinch is reaching all his developmental milestones. Because of gene replacement therapy, he's living the life his parents dreamed for him.
He comes out and helps me move sprinklers and, you know, kind of hangs out with me, doing farm work and a little bit with the cows, but right now he just likes running through hay fields.
It's a life that didn't seem possible after the initial diagnosis.
Come on, Tag.
And though there are no guarantees,
Mama cow?
His parents are hopeful and grateful.
A mother's dream is for him to walk or do the simple things, you know, and so he's done that and more, and we just accept every day and are very thankful that he can do what other kids his age can do, that he can grow up with the other kids and other kids won't know that he has this and he won't be looked at differently.
I just want him to have a good life and, you know, ride broncs, be able to help me around the farm and ranch, and I just hope that he enjoys every moment.
And it turns out, with all this progress, his name, Cinch, means even more to his parents now.
He's kind of holding us up. 100% he fits his name.
An identity that defines him, while his disease does not.
That one over there.
Heather Simonson, KSL 5 News.
Oh, hey guys, we are out here at Mountain America Expo Center. We're at the Festival of Trees, hence this beautiful tree behind me. And I just gotta say, next year, this thing, we need this pandemic to be over with so that everybody can get out and enjoy the beauty and the feeling that comes when you walk in those doors and you see the love that goes into decorating these trees, the delicious fudge, the wreaths. We've got Natalie Mayhew here. You're a co-chair with the Festival of Trees. The impact that this event has on the community, from the stories to the tree, I mean, everything. How has that impacted you?
You know what? We love our community. We love the stories. We love our families and our decorators. And it was devastating when we had to make this event virtual this year. But we are fighting our lives out, trying to bring this back next year bigger and better as ever before. So we are just so grateful for the community, and that this is a special part of Christmas for a lot of families.
The money that is raised through this event, what does it do for the people to see where it goes and how it helps?
It directly impacts those children and families up at Primary Children's Hospital through, all kinds of services for them. And, for me personally, I think it gives me hope. It gives me reassurance that we have such a wonderful place that our kids can go if we ever need it.
I've got a challenge for everybody out there, and I think, Natalie, you'd agree with me. Get online. What's the website?
festivaloftreesutah.org.
Okay, and there's an easy tab. I was just on it. You can go in. You can read the stories of the families for whom these trees are dedicated, and then you can still buy some stuff. There's still stuff for sale, like fudge. It's only $8. There's some beautiful wreaths and blankets. Brooke, this event is amazing.
It is amazing, and you feel that sparkle and that speciality right through the screen. Haley, thank you so much. You know, if you say that someone or something is 1 in a million, you usually mean they're very special, right? Or they're the best of their kind. Nellie Maynor is definitely that, but she also had a medical condition that only 1 in 1 million people have. And that brings some unknowns that can be really scary. Her family is happy. Primary Children's Hospital knew how to care for her. Here's Nellie's story.
In October of 2016, Nellie had blood in her urine, so we took her to Quick Care, and they sent us to Primary Children's nephrology department, and they monitored her for a few months, and it was getting worse, and so they did a biopsy and found that she has a 1 in 1 million disease. It's called dense deposit disease. It's a filter issue with her kidneys. She lost her kidney function within 4 months, and so they had to do dialysis. We came up here 3 days a week to do dialysis and infusions. I was terrified. And when they told me that my daughter would have to have dialysis, I thought that we were going to lose our baby. It was devastating in the beginning, but I've learned that life goes on, and we can do this, thanks to the people at Primary Children's Hospital. In August, we were candidates to learn how to do peritoneal dialysis at home, which has been an amazing blessing. It's given us a lot of our life back. Service is just a part of life for the Maynor family. She's been raising awareness by tying green ribbons in her neighborhood and asked all the neighbors in Farmington to tie green ribbons for National Kidney Awareness Month.
Hi, my name's Melanie, and I have a huge favor to ask. During the month of March, would you please put green ribbons up in your yards and where you work?
She's done some toy drives and blood drives, and she's been doing a lot to give back.
The doctors, nurses, even your child life specialists, they do so much to make the patients well. And I just want to do that for the hospital and the patients.
When an illness hits a family, it's not just the mom and the child that suffer, it's an entire family. It's an entire neighborhood. And when people donate to Primary Children's Hospital, and they're not just donating to one child, they're donating to families, they're donating to communities. Our family will be forever grateful for all of those donors that donate to this beautiful hospital.
Thank you for being champions for children.
Don't mess with Mr. In Between. Dooba dooba dooba. Yeah.
Oh, we have gone back and forth between a few tears, a lot of like couch squeezes, and some laughter too. I'm joined with cute Nellie, a 6th grader now, right?
Yep.
And her mom, Sarah. Thanks so much for being here, both of you. That was a tender journey to look back on. You were quite emotional watching that piece, Sarah.
You know, you forget what you've been through.
Yeah.
You know, those pictures really brought back some tender, sorry.
You're okay to see that
tender moments that we've had in Nellie's short little life.
I sense a really special connection between you two that's inspiring to me just to watch in these last couple of minutes. And to see that little baby, that little girl hooked up to that big machine, that puts it into perspective, doesn't it? We've got a lot to celebrate, though, too, Miss Nellie, because this week was a big one for you. What happened this week?
I went back to school 2 days ago.
Woohoo! Back to 6th grade. I understand your 6th grade class is watching right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet they're so happy to get you back. Well, I'm going to ask you kind of a weird question, because a hospital is a big, scary place to be. You talked about that big machine we saw that you were hooked up to. The sounds were scary when you were little, right? And it was so big, and that was kind of frightening. But I want to know, what was the best part of that hospital? Was there a sparkle or a good part of that hospital you look back and think, I really loved that?
Yeah. Actually, the hospital is actually many of the reasons why I have many talents today.
Really? The singing and the dancing and the fun that happens up there?
Yeah. Actually, my favorite room is Sophie's room because I learned how to play piano there.
Did you? You're
and
a pianist.
Ukulele, just singing too.
Wow. Wow.
My family's a big music thing, so when I was little, we did choir, and I didn't know what to do, so I just sang, and I didn't know like what soprano or alto was, and that's where I learned that all.
Now you know, thanks to the Sophie's Place, that room up there where the kids can go and just be kids. And I want to ask you, Sarah, we talked about the rarity of Nellie's situation and her condition, and I imagine with that, you know, rare situation comes a lot of unknowns and a lot of scary situations, but you describe hope, you describe peace, you describe gratitude. What got you to that place as a mom?
The nurses. Without a doubt, the nurses, the nephrology team, the doctors. You know, when you're doing dialysis at home and you become her nurse, you know, you're never alone. 24 hours, you are always connected to the hospital. You can call at any time of the day and night and always have support. And I can't tell you how many times we called in the middle of the night for, you know, some problem, and they were able to help me solve it. So they're amazing.
You both, I really have enjoyed watching you two interact this morning. It's really inspiring to me. Nellie, we're glad you're doing great. Good, go crush 6th grade, okay? Go crush it, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dan and Lori meeting so many fun new friends this morning.
Hey, of all the friends out there in Nellie's 6th grade class, hi guys. They said they're watching. Hello.
The wonderful family there. I got a chance to interview them a while back. Have them sing for you. Angelic voices. It's incredible.
Boy.
Okay, so we have a real treat for you now. Matt and Savannah Shaw are a daddy-daughter duo from Utah. We love those, right?
Yes.
They rose to prominence on YouTube during the COVID-19 quarantine.
Yeah, normally shy and private. As a teenager, Savannah was nervous to sing her first song by herself, so she asked her dad to join her. They quickly got worldwide fame following what they had 500,000 YouTube subscribers there after that beautiful number.
Yeah. Okay, so most recently, they've been a part of the FM 100 concert series out at Southtown Mall. Their goal is to share hope and spread joy through, of course, music. And they join us now singing a little bit of Christmas.
Thank you so much for inviting us to be a part of KSL's Give-A-Thon benefiting Primary Children's Hospital.
Yeah, Primary Children's holds a special place in our hearts. I know when we were there with our youngest, Penny Jean, we were so impressed by the skill and the care and the kindness that we were shown. And I know Primary Children's is so important to so many people. So to all of you watching today, please consider donating generously and sharing a little bit of Christmas with the kids at the hospital. This year, I'm gonna make sure that I don't let a moment go by where I don't tell the ones I love how much I love them. And this year, I'm gonna let go of the mess and the stress and the rush and pay more attention to the beautiful stuff. Look all around, everywhere you look, there's a little bit of Christmas there to be found. Everywhere you look, there's a little bit of Christmas. Smiling faces, joyful sounds. I believe it all year round. We could use a little bit of Christmas. We could use a little bit of Christmas.
This year, I'm gonna pray for the ones who've lost their way and remember for the grace of God. Go wide. And each year, from here on out, I'm gonna count my blessings and raise my voice to the heavens where the choir sings. Look all around, everywhere you look, there's a little bit of Christmas there to be found. Everywhere you look, there's a little bit of Christmas. Smiling faces, joyful sounds. I believe it all year round. We could use a little bit of Christmas.
Christmas. We could use a little bit of Christmas.
Welcome back, my friends, through the screens to the KSL Give-A-Thon. It's benefiting today our efforts and your donations, benefiting the children at Primary Children's Hospital. We will be taking donations all day long over at kslkids.com, but we do want to give you a chance right now to double your donation with our matching sponsor. So make sure you scan the QR code on the screen, and that will take you directly to the donation page, and we'll be able to double your dollars. You can also call. We do have volunteers standing by the phones, 801-575-5437. You know, anyone who has had a child finish up chemo treatments knows about the ringing of the bell at the hospital. It's a really special moment that even if you haven't experienced it firsthand, I think you feel that electricity, you feel how special that is through the moment. We want to pause and celebrate Payson's celebration story.
Miracles are happening every day behind these doors. This is where my miracle happened. I found out I was diagnosed with leukemia on May 3rd, 2017, which was 4 days before my 7th birthday. One day my mom picked me up from school and she said that there was something wrong with my blood, and she told me that the doctor said that we might want to pack a bag because we might be staying in the hospital.
Oh, so hooked up. He's loving the Darth Vader music.
Yes! Well, I didn't really know leukemia meant cancer, so when I found out that it meant cancer, I was kind of just like surprised, I guess. But it never really terrified me because I knew that the doctors had a plan.
Can you show him your port? Have they seen your port yet?
Oh, no. Yeah. This is my port. It's where they put the needle.
I just started a video. Do you want to say anything to yourself for the future?
Hi, Payson. How you doing?
Payson in the future.
Hi, Payson in the future.
Your future self doesn't have cancer.
This is the bell you ring when it's all over. It's a sound of hope. I got to ring my bell after 889 days of fighting. No longer a kid with cancer, just a kid who gets to be a kid now, thanks to Primary Children's.
Okay, not a dry eye in the studio. That was so tender to look back on your journey. You're holding it together quite well. Your mom and I are having a different struggle, and you more so. Wendy and Payson join me in studio. That is a tender journey to look back on, and how wise you were, Mom, to pull out that camera and ask him what he wanted to tell his 11-year-old self now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Payson, I asked you what you wanted to tell us about the hospital, and in your wise 11 years, you said you wanted to talk about the caregivers.
Yeah. Just the caregivers at Primary Children's Hospital, they just care for you personally, and it's not like they just have to be your caregivers. They are really your friend. Like, they're one of the best friends I've ever had. And three of them, I do musical theater, and three of them once went to one of my plays.
Really?
So, yeah.
So, see, not every nurse just shows up to support someone in a play. Those were your friends out there filling those audience seats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wendy, I want to ask you about that individual treatment, because you said you felt that too, which as a mom, I can only imagine the desperation of wanting your child to be seen for who they are and for what their needs are in the moment. And you said he was.
Yeah, so he really struggled with the plastic protection that was over his port when he was accessed. And there was a caregiver that saw how much anxiety he had when he had to take it off every treatment.
You saw that moment with the tears, right?
Yeah, you saw it on that video. And she was able to take a step back and say, you know what, we can do his treatments a different way and make it less traumatic. And it was amazing that they thought of him as an individual rather than this is just how we treat kids and good luck with it, you know?
That's everything, isn't it? That's everything. When someone that little has to go through something that big, you want it to be an experience for them, right? And about them. Why should people donate, Wendy?
Oh, I think even if they don't see your face, knowing that there are people out there supporting you financially, it really is a lonely time, even though you're with your kiddos and so much community reaches in. Knowing the whole community cares enough to donate was just that extra bit that, you know, gets you through.
Well said. Payson, you doing good? You feeling good?
Oh, yeah.
Any big shows in your future?
I am. We haven't started rehearsals yet, but I am in School of Rock at Hale.
Hey, we can look for Payson there. Thank you. We're so glad you got to ring that bell, and thank you for sharing your special story with us. Merry Christmas, you too.
Merry Christmas.
Cheryl, we'll send it to you.
Oh, my heart, Brooke. Listening to that, I'm so happy for him. Okay, I've got to bring your attention over here to Jennifer. Jennifer, you just had a big donation.
Big donation, a big supporter, $5,000. Very exciting. He was very excited to contribute.
$5,000. That becomes double, triple, $15,000 because we have a double match happening right now thanks to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and Burton Lumber. Whoever you are, I don't know who you are, but thank you. That gave me goosebumps. I'm really excited about that. All right, let's talk about this. Getting patients the help they need fast, and it is so important, especially here along the valley with what we have with our mountains here. And IHC, they work to make that happen. They've got some incredible things up there. 2020, the IHC Life Flight team, they were called out to 3,888 missions. Of these, about half of them were pediatric cases. This means that Life Flight lands on the roof of Primary Children's Hospital 5 to 6 times every single day. Now, depending on how far they need to travel, the Life Flight pediatric and neonatal teams will transport patients by helicopter, airplane, ambulance. These teams are staffed by nurses and respiratory therapists whose experience working directly with neonatal or pediatric patients spans many, many years, even decades. So listen to this, the total mileage covered by IHC Life Flight in 2020, 620,705 miles. That's more than 24 times the Earth's circumference. I can tell you, I interviewed one of the nurses that works on Life Flight, and she tells me that she treats every single one of those patients like they're her own child because that is the most critical moment, and as a parent, you're terrified. So handing your child over to a Life Flight team, they understand how scary that is, and so they treat them all like they're their own children. So let's help keep that going. Let's make sure that those families have the money they need. The hospital has the money they need to help these families. So call now. You can visit our phone line, 801-575-5437, or head over to kslkids.com and donate. Dan and Lori, let's send it to you.
I mean, let's talk about that 5,000 again. Holy cow. 5,000 that turns into 15,000.
Yes.
Somebody just donated that over the phones. Fantastic. We have received 750 donations today alone. Just think of what that amplified really means. It's not about, we kind of tease about the money and the amount and get it to go up. It's people. It helps people. 12,000 appointments at Primary Children's last year were wiped away by the amount of donations coming in.
And I think it's important to point out, and thank you, a hearty thank you to everyone who has donated. We know what a difficult time this is right now. Sure. A lot of families are struggling, and for you to dig deep in your pocket to give whatever you can, no matter if it's $5,000 or $5, but to give when we know times are tough for a lot of families. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
You just heard Wendy. I was so touched by their story say that it wasn't even just the dollar amount, right? It was the swell of support, knowing a community was behind you. Right. A hospital can feel like such an isolating, lonely place to be, as she described it. And I was previewing the stories that you've seen, these amazing stories the last couple hours. I previewed those last night, and I went to bed just thinking about this, kind of having a reverence for the idea of care, right? Like this care one for another, and that's what you've done today with your donations, and you can continue to do throughout the duration of the today.
Such a simple way, too, because people oftentimes just don't know, right? So let's do that big update right now. Take a look at the total. Drum roll. Whoa, whoa.
Here it goes.
Hey, $240,262. All thanks to you, all thanks to your generosity and your donations, folks. Keep them coming in because, again, it's basically tripled. It's a double match, as we say today, thanks to the generosity of our partners as well. So if you want to help the children and their families through Primary Children's Hospital, just keep the total going up and up and up.
Oh, we thank you so very much. And also, you know, the holiday, especially right now, we are in the midst of Christmas time. We've got Hanukkah, and so many things are happening. Haley Smith is at Festival at Trees, where so many people donate their time to come up with those trees, and of course the money that people give for those trees. Haley.
You guys, I will say, being out here at the Festival of Trees, the beauty that these trees create, the feeling, it's kind of a representation to me of the beauty that is felt by all of the people who are so generously giving at this Give-A-Thon for Primary Children's Hospital. It is a beauty to behold. We've got to bring in a couple of the decorators who they've been doing this for nearly 10 years, and this year it's a very special story. We've got Melanie Drake here. This is your nephew that you made the tree for.
Correct. This is Justin Drake, and he is 16. For the last 14 months, he has been battling Langerhans cell histiocytosis, which is a rare form of cancer. So he's been going through chemo treatments, and we just found out yesterday that he's doing really well and his scans came back clean. And so
we just got that information today. His scans came back clean. You said that he's been a fighter through all of this, that he's been kind of a hero for you. And so we've got to bring in Dana Rice. You guys work together to make these trees. Tell me about the theme you made for Justin.
So the theme we decided for Justin was superhero, because superhero is everything that Justin embodies. He is courageous and has battled this disease and this illness with strength and courage, and is just such a bright and shining hope for all of us.
Now, we have to point out the tree skirt. It is a Captain America shield, you guys. It is absolutely beautiful. I have to send it back to you on that note. He got those scans back today, and he was clear. Amazing.
We are so happy for them. Congratulations to that family. We all know medical bills, though, can stretch a family budget to the brink. We know that. We've heard it from some of these families today. And the Family Assistance Fund was established to provide families with that emergency, those resources to ease the stress of having a child in treatment.
You don't want to have to think about the money side. You want to think about the health and the wellness. Some of the resources provided by this fund include public transportation vouchers, gas cards, replacement clothing. You never think about that? The clothing, the food, all of those basics and essentials of life. Your gift ensures that families can focus completely on their child's healing during a tough time. Please give generously, and remember that that's what it represents. That's what your dollar can fulfill for families, are the basics of life, to focus on the most important part, which is getting their children well. Shara?
All right, you guys. Well, we're counting down here, the final few minutes, and I just want to give a push here. I want to point out two things happening behind me. Scott and Todd both have University of Utah shirts on right now. I don't know if you know this, but this might be the biggest day for University of Utah football fans in school history. We have a chance to win a Pac-12 championship, and you know what might help that? Maybe a donation to Primary Children's Hospital to help the kids in your community. So I put a challenge out there to all my Utah fans, my fellow Utes. Guys, we got to get our Utes on the phone. We got to get them online, and we need to start donating, because you know what? It's just karma. It's good karma. Get a donation in. All right, you guys, we have one last story this afternoon. It is a very personal one for our coworker and our friend, Ashley Moser. You watch her on the news every night. Well, she recently gave birth to her daughter, Maya. It was a scary time for the family when they found out there were problems right before her birth, and Ashley was willing to share their story with us.
Perfect. From the moment we heard her heartbeat, it's either pink or blue, to the big announcement that she was joining our family. Our world has never been the same.
Deep down inside, I knew it was going to be a girl.
My husband Michael and I were ecstatic from the beginning, but it's almost like we knew this pregnancy was going to be much different than our first.
Being familiar with the first one and movements, we knew what to expect. And so right then and there, when Ashley was telling me stuff that wasn't like the first one, and we knew our first one was good, then we started having concerns.
At 35 weeks, I didn't feel her kick as much and went into my doctor's office. What we found out at that appointment would change everything.
Amaya has a bright spot on her heart, and they don't know what it is, and we need to go in for further testing.
Through a fetal echocardiogram, pediatric cardiologists at Primary Children's Hospital spotted and diagnosed our daughter with a rare heart condition, one that causes the natural closure of a blood vessel before birth instead of after.
In premature ductal closure, a lot of the time we don't know why that happens. Sometimes there's a clear, obvious reason, but most of the time there isn't.
Dr. Lindsay May says diagnosing our daughter when we did was crucial.
There's definitely the chance that she wouldn't have survived if it had gone on longer undetected.
That detection led doctors to induce me 4 days later. Amaya was born and whisked away to the NICU, where doctors monitored her heart.
The right heart was struggling and definitely had weak, poor function. We could see that the valve function of the tricuspid valve was poor, and we could see that she had pulmonary hypertension.
Amaya came home at 5 days old on oxygen. For the next 3 months, we had follow-ups at Primary Children's Hospital, appointments that showed she was improving.
Her lung pressures were coming down, and gradually we were able to just very slowly wean her off oxygen to the point that her echo now is normal. Without any oxygen support, she's growing, she's thriving, and just doing really, really fantastically well.
What do you say?
Amaya's road to recovery has been a steady one. One made possible by the careful planning and expertise of her doctors. One that continues to help our little girl thrive.
I see a happy baby that was able to get the care and the attention that she needed, and we were able to be informed on what we had to do, and now she's living a happy, fun little life.
Oh my gosh, you can just hear her squealing. We're so thankful that she's doing so well. And she's so chubby too, right? Well, cutting edge surgery techniques set Primary Children's apart. And when Tad Sharp was diagnosed with a brain tumor, doctors determined the best course was to keep him awake during surgery. Here's his story.
Kind of the typical 13-year-old boy.
He likes soccer, he likes art, he likes creating things, he likes taking pictures.
So what we have here is a 3D reconstruction of Tad's brain. He originally had a very benign cyst in the fluid spaces of his brain, which hardly, if ever, need treatment.
I kind of kept getting these feelings, if you will, to check on the cyst. I went to Primary Children's and he had an MRI and they found the cyst. The doctor said, here's the cyst, it's fine as we thought it would be. However, he panned forward and he says, but this is a tumor. It was a tough day.
My biggest worry was, like, how is Tad doing? How is he taking this?
It was a traumatic experience and he walked out and he just said, I'm gonna die.
I was terrified, really terrified, because the first response that everyone thinks is, I'm gonna die.
I had to quickly turn to God because so much you don't understand about that spot, but I knew and felt that God did.
The way we manage hard things in our family is everyone's in.
I came home and Boston, my big brother, he came over and gave me a hug, and I was basically trampled by all of my siblings.
So Tad had a awake craniotomy is what he had. And so what they do is they prep him for the surgery, then they wake him up.
At first, I was thinking, heck no, I'm not doing it awake. I thought I was going to, like, feel them cut into my skull and stuff, but it's not like that.
He's got to be able to count and basically hold a conversation while they're taking the tumor out.
You do that while they remove it so that they know if they mess up your speech center.
When Tad was awake, we were able to use these imaging to navigate to this part of the cortex. If he would stop talking, then we would stop and back off.
I don't know how to explain how impactful the doctors were.
It wasn't just we found out he had a tumor and then several months later had a surgery scheduled that we went into. There were so many points along the way that they prepared for.
So one of the things that we were able to do is use the most advanced imaging protocols, and we were able to develop a map of the nerve fibers coming around the lesion.
Other than the scar, you would never know that he had a pretty scary brain tumor. And it's because of Dr. Cheshire, Dr. Burr, and Dr. Cole that he has this future that is so, so, so bright. They cared about Tad, and we could feel it. That gave us a lot of peace, a lot of peace.
Wow. Just amazing what the hospital could do.
Yeah. Again, keep it going all day long today, folks, because there have been volunteers here from our radio partners and the phone banks, everybody working with the same goal, which is to raise money that will ultimately go to help children and families right here in our great state.
Should we get a total? Should we get a new total?
Let's do it.
Okay, all right. Gonna step out of the way here.
Step out and
cross
review.
over.
Your Vanna.
Yes. $275,107.
And this is without the corporate match. This is you at home donating to us. This is the money that we have raised so far today. So congratulations to you at home. Thank you.
We'd like to say every dollar counts, but it really does. And talking to the families today, sharing their stories, they express that same gratitude. The programs they've experienced, the systems that made their hospital stay that much more enjoyable come from donations just like this.
And here's the thing I love too. A lot of these people calling to donate, they wait all year to do this, and this is their moment where they get to give back. So thank you. you. On behalf of everybody in the phone bank, thank you so much for donating.
KSLkids.com. It's the easiest way to donate right now. But again, your dollar today has been not $2, but $3. So everything you can give, think about a time when you've been in a situation, your children need help, you need help, and everybody around the community is gathering together to help you and kind of then pay it forward. It's a ripple effect.
And let's talk about what's happening, because we're going off the air in just a few moments. However, we continue to collect your donations, and we will be back on the air this evening on the KSL TV side from 6 to 7. And again, talking about how you can donate to these great kids at Primary Children's. We're so thankful.
So many inspiring stories. And to the families, we need to say thank you for sharing your stories.
Right.
I had goosebumps the entire show. It was so fun to hear how they're doing and how they're improving, and to hear about all the different programs at Primary Children's and how they can help these families.
And to know everyone has their own story. We celebrate stories just like that, and we'll continue to do so tonight at 6 o'clock. So we'll see you then. In the meantime, have a great day, everybody. Thank you for your generosity.
We'll see ya.